Good morning. It is so good to be here back on doing a TLC conversation with another woman who is leading in her life. I'm just putting on some hand cream. I see that Becca has joined. It's so good to see her, Becca. If you want to request to join, so you can join the actual screen, that'd be great. So while Becca's doing that, I hope all of your Thursdays are going really well, or whatever day it is that you're watching this. And here is Becca. 1 second. Now she should be right in, hopefully.
Hi. Oh, perfect. Can you hear
Hello.
me okay?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me okay?
Brilliant. Yes, really
Okay.
good.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
Same. I hope the internet connection stay where the weather is a little bit better, but it's still Bali, so we're hoping for the
Yeah,
best.
indeed. That reminds me, I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi on my phone because turn off the Wi-Fi on my phone because it drops out. So, how is everything in Bali?
It's really good. It's just a really nice and relaxed vibe here, and I think it's really good after 2 years of stress and restrictions. So it's nice to be here.
Yeah, amazing. So, as I said in the intro story video yesterday, we met just only during the summer at a retreat and then at a small festival we were at. So our friendship is quite new, but we've
Mhm.
gotten to know each other, really well. So it's been lovely. And I was saying that you made a huge decision not that far in the past to leave a job that you were not happy in and to just really take leadership of your life. Um, is there anything that you'd like to speak about in regards to that, the process of doing that, or you know, just tell everybody a little bit about that process,
Yeah,
if
I
you.
think so. I was in the job for about 5 years, and it was a really good company and super nice people. So it was really a tough decision for me, but I never felt quite right. I never like I really enjoyed the environment that I was in, but I never fully enjoyed. I knew it wasn't my passion. It was okay, but it wasn't my passion. And what kept me for so long was that was telling myself the story that I don't know what I want to do for sure. Like I was like, oh, if I only knew what I really, really wanted to do, I would do that.
Yeah,
But I kept on telling me that over and over again. So that kind of became my mantra and my reality. And looking back, I always knew what I really wanted to do, but I was just a bit too scared to really do that because that means like a really kind of more bumpy road and not so straight. So I followed more the traditional lifestyle before I went to university, got different degrees and like worked. And so following my passion meant working as coach, as a psychotherapist, and working with horses and finding my own way of how to combine that. And so that meant leaving that normal lifestyle, the normal job. And I was telling myself, well, you've went to university for so long, you have this career, whatever that meant. You cannot
yeah,
just quit and go out on your own and do whatever feels right. And that really kept me trapped for a long time. And also that I didn't have many people in like surrounding me that did that. So I didn't really know what a different lifestyle could look like and how it could be successful.
yeah,
Mm.
amazing. And I guess it's interesting that you brought that up. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday as well who has been telling herself for years, I don't know what I want to do. And it's amazing, the more we tell ourselves, the more we close down our ability for our higher self or whoever to actually let us know what it is or to guide us in it. Because as you said, each of us know deep down, but we're too afraid maybe, or we're too whatever it might be to actually allow ourselves to even imagine it being possible. And
And the
it's
truth
just,
is also that we'll never figure it out if we sit on the couch or if we go to the old job. You know, we need to go out
yeah,
and that idea that we have it all figured out is nonsense, because we never have. But allowing ourselves to just take the first step and then
Mm-hmm.
see, okay, where are we going? Like my first idea was, okay, I'm a psychotherapist and that's it. And the more I do this job as a psychotherapist, I figure out, okay, who are actually the clients that I really enjoy working with? What are the topics? And then I redefine it. You know, every month that I do this job, I know more about myself. I know more about what I really enjoy. And then from that, I can go the next step. But if I sit in front of my computer and try to plan it out really nicely, it's never
Yeah.
going to work.
Yeah.
It's really an experiential journey. Mm.
100%, yeah. And it involves all of us, our body, mind, our spirit, whatever way you want to say any of those words. The three things need to be involved in this process. It can never be just a mental process. You know, it has
Mm.
to, we have to move as uncomfortable as it be at times. It really has
Mm.
to happen.
Mm.
Yeah. And then you
Yes.
also decided to leave Ireland for a little while. You took an
Mm.
even bigger leap into the unknown just to see. Yeah.
I think like so what helped me the first time make that decision was that I created a community where other people had done that already. Like it got to the point, I think with Corona as well, that I just felt so unable to really do my actual job, that I almost felt like it just felt really low in energy. And I think part was being in the stress mode the whole time. Like in my old job, I really enjoyed the working with people directly, and since Corona started, that had stopped. So I think what happened that my body went in this survival mode for so long, that it brought me to a place where the stress really kept me in a really low energy mode, and that I just wasn't able to do my job in the way that I wanted to any longer. And I knew I needed to change something in order to regain that energy back and in order to be safe and fine. And so I looked for community in order to see how other people have done it and to get a better idea. And so that really, really helped me. Like the minute I joined the community, I was like, okay, I need to make changes and I need to really design the life that I want. And it's really up to me with the
Mean by
support.
Sorry to interrupt you,
Sorry?
but can you just explain what you mean by the community? Not everybody might understand that because you actually went and spent time in it with the community to work together. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
first I joined an online community just because the people I was surrounding myself, they were all living a similar lifestyle that I had. They had like I say normal job, but they were being employed, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I need some people. So I joined like a course that was called Project Soul Mission, where I knew people are on the way to the soul mission. There's that support. And then I went on like retreats in Ireland where I also met you, but where I knew there would be people who are on this journey, where I knew I would find the support, and that was crucial. I don't think I would have been able to do that without that.
Okay.
And then the second part is that I've really learned to regulate my nervous system better, because I knew I needed to feel super safe inside myself. I needed to have a lot of resources to go out on my own. And so I did a lot of breath work, spent time in nature, anything that I knew would stabilize myself and would give me the energy and power to really go out for myself. And then I also found a community here in Bali of people who are all in the coaching, self-employed industry or living that kind of lifestyle. And so I decided to move here for some time in order to just bring myself in a different environment where it's just normal, where this is just normal, um,
Yeah.
just to get a completely different perspective and shift different mindset. Like I had so many limiting beliefs when it comes to being self-employed,
Yeah.
and they were obviously based on what I've experienced so far, but also based on my environment. And to really shift that, I was like, I just want to be in a different surrounding for a while until it becomes more normal for me. Mm.
Okay. And what do you think um it has been your biggest limiting belief in regards to being self-employed?
My biggest limiting belief and still is to fully trust myself. I
Okay.
think once I really feel, and there are moments where I really feel the gift that I hold inside myself, it becomes magical.
Mm.
But there's still a big part of me that's doubting myself a lot, and that's making it really hard. Because you need to create your own structure, you really need to go full out and show yourself, and that's
Scary.
vulnerable sometimes. And to
Yeah.
really be able to held that and be okay with that. And the second one is my money mindset. I
Yeah.
grew up in a family where we were taught that you only take as much as you need and you always consider everyone, and you never, you always be like really more, um, yeah, like you always support everyone. But if you run your own business, you need to earn money. Like, and if you do that, and you don't charge people for what you actually do, you're kind of depleting all your energy. So that's a big learning for me too. To yes, I want to share the gift with as many people as possible, but at the same time, it's also important for me to earn enough money to make a living from that, and to be able to allow myself that is definitely a challenge. And also to do with self worth,
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
figuring out what you're worth and that you allow that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been such an amazing journey, for me being an acupuncturist. It has been such a different journey being self-employed in that field than it has been
Mm-hmm.
self-employed in the coaching field.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, acupuncture, there was more of a flow to it. People understand it more, they're more open to it. Whereas with coaching, I think so many people feel they need to figure things out on their own and then they'll do something. That
Mm-hmm.
no matter where it is you are choosing to stand up in your life and to lead your life in a certain direction, as you said, we need community, we need support, we need somebody at our back, and we need somebody also to point out the blind spots that we have with our own limiting beliefs and with our own limiting habits or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, having my own coach to work with and a community of women who are also coaches, it's been an incredible support. And I don't think I'd be as far on in this now as I am if I hadn't had that support. And I think it's
Mm-hmm.
really important that people know that as much as they can, reach out and find a community, discover your community. If it is as much as just finding somebody on a coach online or something, just to have somebody to have your back and to help you move through this process of transformation, because that's what you're doing when you're running your own business. I feel you're
Fully. Mm.
yeah. There's always new edges that you reach, always new levels of transformation that you're being offered, and we have a choice whether to do that or not. And
Mm.
having somebody to help you and guide you is so much easier.
So
Yeah,
much easier. Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's what I really value here as well, that I have different coaches actually for different topics, and
easy. Yeah,
it's really important for me. And I also have supervision every week, so I have loads of support, but I really need it. And I don't think I realized how much I needed it when I started this journey.
yeah,
But being here has definitely, well, and always, like, I think that's actually the biggest challenge as a business owner. It's so much about your mindset and what you believe you can do and achieve and how you can go out, and being able to have that space where you reflect on that and see, okay, what is actually blocking me from
yeah,
stepping out, from creating this course, or from attracting the clients, or from working with the clients, is the game changer.
100%, definitely.
Mm.
And something I've really discovered in my process of doing all of this is that the necessity to be really honest with yourself about where you are at a particular moment. If you are feeling unworthy for whatever reason, that is okay.
Mm.
It's not something that we need to go into big resistance about, because the more we
Mm.
resist something, the more it's going to be there.
Mm.
So, allowing ourselves to go, yeah, I'm just feeling really unworthy, but I can still move forward and do the task that I need to do, or I can go around it a different way, or whatever it might be. And I
Mm.
think in my whole process of being self-employed, there was a lot of those limiting beliefs that I tried for a really long time to resist or to get rid of or to ignore. But they are there to be witnessed, and they're there to be almost like a platform for your next level as well. You know, just
Mm.
because you admit to yourself that you're feeling unworthy or not good enough or incapable or whatever it might be, it doesn't mean that becomes your future. It just means
Mm.
you're accepting what is here in the moment, and then you can move on from there. So I think that for me has been a huge process, and it's how I'm really working with my clients as well. Just to, let
Mm.
yourself just understand where you are and move forward and keep your focus on where it is you're going. But
Mm.
it's okay to be here as well.
And I
Yeah,
think also allowing yourself to go at the pace that feels safe for you and feels right for you, because
yeah,
sometimes if we come in, we maybe see other people that are a lot quicker, and then we think, oh, we have to have this hyper speed as well. But it may not feel safe for our body, for our nervous system at all. So then we may really leap ahead
yeah,
and then we crash again
yeah,
because we didn't really consider what is the speed that we can really go in and what is the speed that our body feels safe in.
yeah,
And especially if we're coming from this work environment, I came from this hustle mode. Like I was always really busy doing loads of different things at the same time. But it was actually a trauma response. So
yeah,
I was keeping my nervous system like running the whole time, right?
yeah,
And like to allow myself now, I can go at the speed that feels safe and it's way more sustainable because I can make way more powerful decisions with less work if they come from that space of safety, from that space of groundedness,
hmm,
instead of from this safe of like just crazy running around and just doing without really being like present and grounded. And
yeah,
that's the biggest shift at the moment for me.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree completely because when we are trying to force ourselves into a process or into something that we're trying to create and we haven't, as you said, generated that level of safety within ourselves or that just the presence within ourselves, then it's gonna it's gonna get far too stressful and your mind's not gonna be able to think straight. You're not gonna be able to follow through on the habits that are gonna get you there. And you're
Mm.
also not going to be able to serve your clients or the people you're working with as best as you can because you yeah, your system has just become too wired to really be of service in the high way that you want to be. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So I don't know why I want to say this, but I was thinking too when we first met and we met in the park here in Dublin on one of those really sunny days, and we got super excited about creating this our own kind of course together. And
Mm.
that day we were like, oh yeah, this is going to be amazing.
Mm.
We're going to serve so many people, but neither of us were in the place of safety for that to happen.
Mm.
And it's just a really interesting thing to see that though it was an amazing idea, that it just wasn't right for us to actually do that yet,
Mm.
or at all. But I don't know why that has come into mind and to bring it out, but I just find that really interesting to experience with you, because we had spoken about another coach that you know of who is super successful and she had
Mm.
amazing things. And often when we see the success of other or our perception of their success, it
Mm.
can we can like get to, oh, I really want to do that. I can totally do that. And then if you trip up and think that you fail, it can actually hold you back. So it's really important to get clear on what it is you actually want. What is it that you actually want to create? Don't
Mm.
follow somebody else just because they're successful or that they're, you know, doing really, really well.
And I think actually that has been my biggest learning of in this process of being self-employed, that I always check in with myself because yes, part of me wanted this community, but I'm not the one holding it. At least I wasn't in that time, right? And even now, I sometimes come up with these ideas and think, oh, it would be amazing to do that. But is that really the joy? Is that really coming from my heart? Or is that more coming from like an inspirational moment because I've seen other people do that?
Yeah.
And I think this is just learning because I've never I've never had that freedom to just decide what I really, really enjoy doing and just follow what sparks me joy. You know, before I was doing, I was in university, so following a path that's really given, then working in a corporate environment for years and years and years, and now letting all of that go and allowing myself to really only do what feels right and what I enjoy is such a shift.
Yeah,
And I realized that it always takes like refocusing on me all the time.
yeah,
And I'm becoming better, but in the beginning I was almost doing the same that I did in the corporate world, that I became like more driven and like more thinking of what I need to do instead of like being present and really feeling what is it actually that I want to do.
yeah. And I think there can be a really slight edge, and it's something that I've really learned as well, is that there are times when there is certain work for your business that does need to get done and you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do it, and investigating what part of yourself doesn't want to do it because these things actually do need to get done. That
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there's parts of running your own business and putting yourself out there that just aren't going to feel good, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the end result of you actually doing them is where you're going to feel really proud of yourself for moving through the discomfort. You're going to feel really good because it has created something new, it has generated, has had a compound effect. So I know from other women that have been in the coaching industry much longer than I have, that they have said that it's waiting for everything to feel good actually slows them down, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That it can be a very fine line. We need to be very honest with ourselves in regards to that. I think the bigger picture of what I'm creating, that has to feel good. That always has to be in
Mm-hmm.
alignment with me. But some of the steps along the way, I'm just not going to enjoy them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be something that I do want to do it, but I'm not going to be overjoyed doing it. That's probably the best
Mm-hmm.
way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to bring that into this kind of conversation as well, because sometimes that can, there's just some days where you don't feel good for whatever reason. Energies aren't as high as they could be stormy outside, you're not feeling great or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be, but some of the work needs to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because that's part of being a business owner, that's part of being a leader, and it's part of also, in a sense, holding yourself or ourselves accountable for who it is that you're going to serve and who it is that you are serving. So, yeah.
That's very true. I think um, I have like my idea of where I want to go, what I want to create. Like the past was psychotherapy. I'm teaching breathwork at the moment as well. I'm working with horses, so these are all the areas that I really enjoy, and I know I'm going there, and I'm not questioning that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm checking in, is that the right direction for me? Do I really want to do that? And I know I will. But then I have days where the session may not be like this morning I was working with a horse and I felt like um I was almost shifting in the doing mind, right? Because with the horses I just need to be present and be aware. But
Mm,
part of me was wanting to be further along, so the session didn't feel as I wanted to. It felt a bit, and so that then sometimes can feel like a bit of work.
yeah.
But I know the end result of where I'm going is the right direction. So I keep on going, even so not every step might feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Um, but like, let's say I create, I don't know, some kind of course where I'm thinking, oh, that would be nice. I could earn money with that. And then I maybe even drop the course, but it doesn't feel like joy at all. Then I
Yeah.
know this is not the right path and I don't even need to go further because there's no joy coming in thinking of the end result, and then I can let go. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Because there's going to be certain times when you are sitting, you're creating a course or you're creating a program, and you have to sit down and actually begin to create it, or you're
Mm-hmm.
half through and you have to do more, but your
Mm-hmm.
ego is going, I want to go do something. Let's do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't feel good, in a sense, making yourself sit down to do the work because it has to get done so you can serve people, so you can earn money, so that you can you know, continue on the path of feeling the joy that you know exists at the end of this program or
Mm.
this course that you're doing. So
Mm.
yeah, it's it's an interesting road to be walking on. It really, really is.
Fully. But
Yeah.
what I find the most enjoyable, and that's also why I know it's so worth it, because it gives me so much more energy and joy. And it almost makes me mad that we live in a society where we think, following a normal path that never felt fully right for me was okay. Like I heard from a lot of people, oh, Becca, just be happy. You have this great life, you have this great job, you have, you live in a nice place and all this, just be okay. And it makes me angry that we believe that, having an average life is fine, that for some reason that is what the society we live in, that we believe, oh yeah, just be okay with what you have, instead of really following what you want, because this
Yeah.
is like, it's not a rehearsal. We only have this one life. So if we keep on waiting for what? And if you
Exactly.
go out and really find out what's true to yourself and speak your truth and go after that, it may feel uncomfortable from time to time,
Yeah.
but
And it's
it's
going.
so much, yeah, but it's so much more. I think it's so worth it than sticking to something that never felt right for you in the same place, or it's just, so many people say, oh, it's just a job, but at the same time you spend so much time there, while you could share your gift with the world, and a lot of people would benefit from it. It's okay, Jen. Yeah.
Back up.
And
Still going.
I just wish that that becomes more normal, that we really question ourselves, why do I actually do that? And that we skip the have tos, because there are so many have tos, or there used to be so many have tos in my life too. And I think just giving the have tos up and following your passion, or following what makes you feel alive, would make this life or this world so much more beautiful. So I really wish that more people would do that.
I
Yeah.
completely agree. I think this is why having conversations like this is so important, so that, maybe somebody is thinking about making changes in their life, but they might not even see other people doing it. Like you said, they don't
Mm-hmm.
have anybody in their community doing it, or
Mm-hmm.
it was never taught in school, especially the education
Mm-hmm.
system certainly
Mm-hmm.
is putting everybody into little boxes so that we can continue on living in this kind of environment. But having these conversations, making it, I guess, a norm in a sense, or another path to choose, hearing these conversations and seeing people who have taken the leap, seeing our journey and seeing how it's going, it might just open it up for other people, letting them
Mm-hmm.
know that there is another possibility, and that you don't have to necessarily quit your job and pack up and move the other side of the world. You do it your way. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
keep your job like I did when I was doing acupuncture, well, I kept my job for a number of years until I felt confident enough to leave and go full time
And I
acupuncture.
kept my job first as well. I
Yeah,
think, I mean, I
yeah,
started as a psychotherapist, I think it's 2.5 years ago now. So in the beginning, I did do it in the evenings part time, in order, just until I felt comfortable. So I do think it's to do it at your own pace is totally
yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think some people feel that if they choose something that they want to follow, they think they have to completely give up their own life
Mm.
in, and then move into their new life. And it doesn't,
Mm.
maybe that works for some people, but I haven't met anybody who has done that to that kind of extreme. And it's not something that anybody needs to do. This
Mm.
is, as you said, this is our life. Each of
Mm.
us have one go as this entity, this human that we are, and we get to,
Mm.
should we choose to, we get to choose how we live it and what direction it wants to go in. Yeah.
And I think what I can say is that when you follow what makes you happy, life actually gets easier.
You find
Um,
finding more things, it opens up more.
it opens up so much more. And also, like before, I always thought there was something wrong with me. Like, why am I not enjoying that fully? Why can I not fit in? Right?
Yeah,
I didn't feel like I belonged because I tried to fit in so hard to something that just wasn't mine. And
yeah,
now that I let that go, and I'm just responsible every day to follow what really sparks the joy and to go after that,
Mm.
life becomes easy because I know the path. I don't have to spend all day trying to motivate myself or do something that doesn't feel aligned. Now it's just like following my truth every day and staying in that truth. And that just makes me really happy, and that just makes it really easy in a way. I mean, it's not always easy of like creating the offers, but I know exactly what I'm here for. I know exactly which path I'm following.
Yeah.
And there's not this constantly second guessing, what am I doing? Am I doing that right or something? Because that's gone. And a lot of people say, oh, but isn't that scary? Or is it not safer to stay in your old job? And I actually think this is the safest thing that you can do,
Yeah.
because you stop pretending. You just feel the safety inside yourself, because you only need to trust yourself and connect with that. So your safety is no longer connected to the job that you have or to the house or the money that you're earning. You're in line with what actually feels alive in yourself, and that's all you need to follow. And
Hmm.
that makes it then so much easier. Like, I wish I would have known that 15 years ago, because I knew I would be like way ahead. I would have skipped all this drama.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The drama made you who you are today, though, as well. So,
That's true, yeah. And I needed it. Like, I
yeah.
wasn't ready earlier. So I needed the time, and I think I needed to go like down in that deep hole where there was actually no way that I could continue having that life, and
Yeah.
where I needed to make these changes. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree completely. And, going back to when you're in a life that you're not enjoying living, or you're in a job that's not inspiring you, or that, you might enjoy it, but deep down that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you
Hmm.
are questioning, well, why aren't I happy? Why can't I just get on with it?
Hmm.
And when you start and you feel left out of life because it seems on some level that everyone else is having a great life, but you're here.
That's exactly how I
Not,
felt. I was like, life is passing by. What the hell am I doing wrong? What am I not understanding? What am I not getting here? Yeah.
yeah. And I feel, for me anyway, the safety that really gets generated is that I'm I'm giving myself permission to be me, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
We really allow those little
Hmm.
parts of ourselves to come together, even the parts we don't necessarily like about ourselves, or the limiting things we don't like about ourselves, but it's still me, it's still who I
Hmm.
am. And
Hmm.
when we can do that, when we can allow these different areas of ourselves to come together and move us forward on a path that is bringing us joy and is bringing, service to ourselves and to others, that safety that generates, that in a sense, it generates a state of peace an awful lot, because yes, there's things that need to be done on the outside, but on the inside there's a certain level of that everything's okay, everything is okay.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that's a really good point that you brought up. Yeah.
It almost brings me back to that little child that is allowed to explore, that's allowed to be curious, that's allowed to try. And I
Yeah.
haven't felt that feeling in so long, because I felt such a pressure before, and I had probably such a free lifestyle. So if people would have looked at my life, they're like, "Well, you're traveling, you have all these amazing things," and I did have them, and I was really grateful for them.
Mm.
But there was always that something is wrong, and now there's just this, yeah, this little child coming back out. Like, I was on the scooter the other day here, just singing along, going on a little explore too, playing around with the horses, and just discovering and just being allowed to do that, and being allowed to be me. And that is actually my job now. Like, where I hold
Yeah.
space for other people to be themselves too, and
Yeah.
just to discover what is possible.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's unbelievable. It feels really, really great and really rewarding
Yeah.
on
And
a
I
way deeper level. Yeah.
huge and that for me, because freedom is such a massive thing for me, feeling
Mhm.
free.
Mhm.
And you can have all the money in the world, you can go all the places that you want to go, but if you don't feel free to be who you are,
Mm.
then you're not really being free. And that's part of the work that I'm doing as well is, and for myself, I'm always trying to generate a more freedom within myself of allowing myself, giving myself full
Mm.
permission to be who I am. And when we can begin to tap into that internal freedom to, you know, let that innocent fun out, or the, whatever it might be, that once you start feeling that level of freedom generated from within yourself, not because of any external
Mm.
circumstances, it's going to inspire you to continue going. It's going to be the kind of, energy that you need to move forward and to go, you know what, I'm going to keep going with this. I'm going to trust myself. I'm going
Mm.
to allow myself to see how much freer can I feel? How much freer
Mm.
can I be to be all of me? Can I be free enough to be all of who I am? No matter what anybody else thinks or whatever is going on the
Mm.
outside.
And I think that's the part that I needed to master in order to quit my job,
Yeah,
to have that part that feels really secure inside. Because before I was so attached to the money and the job title, and so that was the biggest part that I really needed to deeply feel inside of me. That even if all of this is gone on the outside, I can I can create that inside of me, and I can go from that place of inner trust and build my business from there. And that really has been the game changer, because the crazy thing is that I was at a point where I probably had as much money in my life that I never had, right? And I didn't feel free financially at all. I felt like I needed that money in order to be fine. But there was a time in my life when I was a student in university where I had hardly any money, but financially I felt fine. I felt that security because I was like, oh, I'm just, next month I figure out how to pay the bill. Like, I had that
yeah,
feeling. But when I actually financially had a certain amount of money in my bank account, I didn't, because all of a sudden that freedom became tied to a certain amount of money in my bank account. That financial freedom wasn't inside myself any longer. It was fixed to amount of money. And then actually um, my freedom became so attached to that amount that it was crazy, that it was almost hard to let go. And realizing that made me free again. Realizing that I hold that freedom inside of myself, and I can create the amount of money to be free. And actually, if I attach it to a certain amount on my bank account, that's not freedom. That's actually the opposite of freedom. That's really, really holding me a slave to that money.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree completely. Yeah, I think that's a good point to bring up. And I understand people, we all have rents to pay or we all have bills to pay or whatever it might be, that it can be really hard if you've made the jump and you are struggling to make your rent and you are
Mm-hmm.
struggling to whatever it might be, that things are taking slower than you would have liked. But I can really understand, and I've been there myself, how you're giving up your freedom to the fear of not being able to generate the money that you need to get all these bills paid. And it's giving up that freedom, that internal freedom. It's going to block the intuition from coming in. It's going to block the ideas. It's going to block your ability to get out there and serve and create these programs and call in these clients who do want to work with you and do want to pay you for the services that are
Mm-hmm.
here that you're offering. And I think that's a really good point to make. And it kind of circles back to something you said earlier about, being a business owner, that when we are running a business, we have to sell. It's an integral part of running a business. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that can be sometimes a big thing, especially for women, to feel very uncomfortable with. Well, I don't want to be seen as, selling my services. I don't want people to think that I'm just going out there, trying to get what I can from them. And that is also a way of keeping yourself from being free, because you're not placing value on what it is that you're giving out into the world. You're not placing value on the amazing work that you have done in yourself and in the work that you're offering out. And I think if I think a paradigm shift is needed for so many in regards to selling for your business. If you're not selling, you don't really have a business. And I know that's an uncomfortable thing to say,
Mm.
but you know, you don't see, I know it's a different kind of thing, but you don't see somebody running a little corner shop standing at the door begging people to come in. You know, they open their doors, they know they're there to sell. It's as simple as
Mm.
that.
Mm.
And I think if we can take the heaviness, or maybe there's a little bit of shame, who knows, everyone's individual, around this
Mm.
need to sell, it changes everything. It changes, it frees you up to be of service in the way you want to be. It
Mm.
frees you up on so many levels.
Mm.
And it frees you up to allow the money to actually come in as well. So,
Fully.
yeah.
I in some parts I've switched it from, not all the time, but like with the breathwork course that I'm doing at the moment and the horses and also the therapy, like I know the benefit of that and I actually see it as a service to the people. And I feel
Yeah,
like if I'm not speaking about it and not offering it to people, it's almost like if I'm not able to help them. Like I have these gifts and I have the knowledge about it, and it
exactly.
would be crazy not to share them with people and make them like have them suffering for longer. Like the amount of change that I see that when people breathe with me, that sounds crazy, but it is a bit like that because we can, like, it's amazing. Like we can regulate our nervous system. We can like tap into emotions. We can heal pain that we've had maybe for a long time, right? And if I don't give out that opportunity that people can join me or that I can create these courses, who am I to hold that from you, And the same with horse, like there's so much suffering because we're not tuned in, and also dangerous. Like what I saw this morning, I was working with a highly aggressive horse, right? And so you bet a lot of people. So it's like, you know, who am I not to offer the service of um, having people, like, helping people and making that safer and bringing or helping you regulate the nervous system so that you can really go out and do what you love. So, yeah.
And just because you're putting your services out there, just because you're telling people, just because you've opened the door to selling for your business, doesn't mean that everybody has to buy, you know. The people
No.
who are resonating with you, the people that know in their soul, in their bones that you're there to be of service to, they're going to come and go, yes, I want to work with you. Yes, I want to
Mm.
put money into the services that you're offering.
Mm.
It's it's interesting. It is
Mm.
interesting.
But
Yeah.
that was a huge shift for me because I started my journey offering my services for free. So I
Yeah.
like over a year I was working as a psychotherapist for free, and then I went into the like for an NGO, like, yeah. Then and I'm still, that was still a step to really know, okay, this is worth a lot. I see how people transform. I see how people change. So I'm not going to do that because I need energy and resources in order to be able to do this amazing work and to allow myself to do that. It's been it's definitely been a game changer, and it's been amazing for me too.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I mean, it's a process. It's for me anyway, and for most people I know, it hasn't happened at the flick of a switch. It takes time. It
Mm-hmm.
takes letting things go. It takes learning about yourself. It takes
Mm-hmm.
allowing yourself to see things differently. It's allowing
Mm-hmm.
yourself to follow the joy, as you said earlier. Your end
Mm-hmm.
result. Is it worth moving this through this discomfort to create what it
Mm-hmm.
is creating and to serve in the way that you want to serve?
Mm-hmm.
So we've just come up to almost 45 minutes, Becca.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is there anything that you'd like to share? Any offerings you've coming up that you would like to put out there? You let people know.
Um, Yes, I do have so I'm at the moment I'm fully booked with one-on-one clients, but I do have a workshop coming up in the following week, and it's called the Pippi Longstocking Effect and how to create the life that you really want. And
Okay.
it's a 2-hour workshop. So if you want to join that, you're more than welcome. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun exactly doing that. Yeah.
What is the Pippi Longstocking effect?
Yeah. So it's about really creating the life that you're here for and that you want, but in a safe way. So we will look at how you can regulate your nervous system so that you can actually go towards the goals that you're having. We look we're going to look at what is your identity, how do you create an identity, what do you attach an I to, what is it really, if you would join your heart, if you would speak from your heart, would actually come up. And we just have a bit of fun, because I think we can all use a bit of fun and craziness, and just that little child is going on like a little discovery journey in order to figure that out. Yeah.
Amazing. That sounds fantastic, Becca. That sounds really good. And when is that?
That is in 2 weeks, no, in a week and a half. So Saturday in a week and a half at 10 o'clock Irish time. And you can find the link in my bio.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, it has been so fantastic talking to you and seeing your face. It seems like ages, but
Same. It
not that.
does. I'm actually also looking forward to be back in Ireland and to meet up in person. And
Yeah,
yes, gonna be lovely.
yeah.
All
And
right.
it might.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Becca. I will be in touch and I'll see you soon.
Perfect. All right. Bye, Joanne.
Bye. Bye bye.